So you might have heard that Marvel Studios showed 30 to 40 minutes of Deadpool and Wolverine footage, the first 30 to 40 minutes of the movie, to fans during a fan event in Shanghai. You might have heard about this, but we're going to dive into detail about specifically what was shown, and there are some spoilers that we're going to be talking about, so that is your warning. Now, one thing that we've learned about a very particular scene that we've already seen in the Deadpool and Wolverine trailers is really intense. Like, it's hilarious, but it is super intense, kind of dark at the same time. Going back to the Deadpool and Wolverine trailers, where we see Deadpool in sort of a snowy forest fighting the TVA agents in what seems to be a very bloody battle. And why it's so bloody, or I should say how it's so bloody, is kind of disturbing. Apparently, this is connected to Logan, specifically the ending where Logan/Wolverine dies. Many people have noticed that in the trailer, Deadpool isn't using his katanas. He is using two different items to stab these TVA agents in a very bloody and aggressive manner. Apparently, these are the bones, the adamantium bones of Wolverine. He either digs them up or breaks them off. Remember, he does have adamantium katanas, so it is possible that they might be able to break them. But reportedly, that is what is happening in this scene. And if you take a look at this still frame right here, in his right hand, it does seem like he is indeed holding a broken bone, an adamantium bone of Wolverine. So that's already just kind of a really great spoiler right there. Again, little spoiler, doesn't make or break the movie. Just really funny, really dark, and really intense. Now, these spoilers won't spoil the entire movie. Like I said, only the first 30 to 40 minutes was even shown, but there are a few decent sized spoilers that we are going to be talking about. So again, your final spoiler warning. For example, we've been wondering about the Hulk in Deadpool and Wolverine. Well, they give us an answer in this. In fact, they talk about how there are many cameos within the movie. In fact, they say that there are various versions of Logan that appear, including a zombie version of Wolverine, which fans are already just absolutely stoked about. I've seen a lot of comments online already stating that they think this is awesome. And there's a reason that I think a lot of versions of Logan are going to appear. And most of you might have already figured this out already. And keep in mind, throughout this video, they only showed the first 40 minutes of the film. So what I believe is happening here is Deadpool goes to the TVA, he gets assigned with whatever task that he gets assigned to, we don't know that yet, and then he goes and he seeks out a Wolverine. So what does he do? He starts universe hopping, going to a bunch of different universes in search of that perfect Wolverine. And we actually heard a little while back a plot leak that stated he would go and search for that perfect Wolverine, but ultimately would decide that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is the perfect one and nobody could replace him. Now, it's during these scenes where he is jumping to different universes in search for a perfect Wolverine where we are going to see a lot of different versions of Wolverine, and they are going to be played by different characters. There was a rumor that Henry Cavill is going to be playing a variant of Wolverine, that Daniel Radcliffe would be playing a variant of Wolverine, and of course, Hugh Jackman's going to play variants of himself as well. And it sounds like, since they also stated that there are many cameos shown in this footage, we'll see a lot of other really cool cameos of other characters besides Wolverine all throughout the first 40 minutes of the film when Deadpool is jumping to different universes trying to find Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, until of course he finally does. They end up back at the TVA, then they end up in the Void. That's when they start fighting each other, and then Cassandra Nova's people come, and they ultimately take Deadpool and Wolverine as prisoners. We already know that because we've seen that in the trailers. We've seen them tied together inside of those cages. In the past few days, we've been talking about this, but this scene right here might feature the Hulk. And what's really interesting now is that according to the report about the footage that was shown, we do get a Wolverine versus the Hulk scene. Now, it's still unconfirmed on whether or not it's going to take place right here, right after Wolverine fights Sabretooth, but at this point in time, it looks like it is confirmed that the scene is going to happen in the movie at some point in time. But again, people are really thinking that when Deadpool tells Wolverine that people have been waiting decades for this fight, he's not actually referring to Wolverine versus Sabretooth, but referring to Wolverine versus the Hulk. So again, this is coming from footage that was directly shown, so this does seem to be official at this point in time. The Hulk is in the film and Wolverine will fight him. Another thing said about the footage that was shown is that it is very violent, which, yeah, we know, it's a Deadpool film, so glad to see they still kept it insanely violent even though it's at Disney now. It's very violent and funny with great action sequences, an excellent score, and some deeply emotional scenes. I'm assuming that they're referring to the past of Wolverine. He let his whole world down, and I have stated my theory plenty of times where I think Cassandra Nova in that universe actually used her telepathy to mind control Wolverine and made him kill all of the X-Men. We'll have to see if that's accurate, but that's my theory. But clearly the emotionality of it all is referring to Wolverine and his past, however he let down the people that he loved. Also Deadpool, of course, as well. We know that he loves his friends, but we also know that he's in a pretty dark and weird place. He's depressed, he's selling used cars, he's not very good at it. Vanessa is now with another guy, not him, and his whole universe is about to be destroyed. But it is very good to hear that there is going to be some deeply emotional scenes, and it's not just all joke, 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 violence, 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 joke, 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 but there is some depth to it as well. And to me, one of the most important things that we have heard about the first 40 minutes of this film is that it's fantastic. The movie is amazing, and we expected nothing less from Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and director Sean Levy, along with Kevin Feige. Now again, keep in mind, only the first 30 to 40 minutes were shown, but they've already said that it felt like a blend of the epic scale of Avengers Endgame and the irreverent humor of Deadpool. And honestly, that sounds amazing. Something that is truly a huge event for Marvel Studios again, but keeping that same Deadpool feel that we love that we got from the first two films. Now, another thing that I think is going to make a lot of fans happy is that the footage that was shown apparently confirms that all of the footage that we've seen so far with the trailers, TV spots, etc., that is all within the first 40 minutes of the film. Meaning the people who watched this 40-minute footage of the beginning of the film, they saw everything that we saw in the trailers. So Marvel Studios is doing a fantastic job at really not giving us too much, but at the same time, giving us a lot. They're not really revealing too much about the movie, but they're giving us these little cameos and some epic dialogue that we know we're going to be hearing in the movie. So for the fans who have been saying they're showing us way too much with all of these trailers and TV spots and the photos they've been releasing, I hear you, but it sounds like we're good. They're really not showing us too much of the movie. Now, another thing that was shown but wasn't completely revealed was Lady Deadpool. They say that the scenes she was in, she wore a mask the entire time. However, the voice of Lady Deadpool did sound like Blake Lively, the wife of Ryan Reynolds. So not Taylor Swift, like a lot of people were thinking, but his wife, which is really, really cool. He gets to play Deadpool with his wife in a movie in which she is also playing Deadpool. And I guess since they didn't actually see her face in that part, it's not confirmed yet, but this is what we have all been expecting and speculating about, and it would seem like something Ryan Reynolds would do because it would be a lot of fun for him to do with his wife. And now we've heard that the voice of Lady Deadpool sounds like Blake Lively, so we can pretty much assume she is playing Lady Deadpool. Now, this report about what was shown at the fan event comes from maxblizz.com. And according to them, the same footage is going to be screened at the upcoming fan events in Seoul, Berlin, and New York City. Those are happening July 4th, July 7th, and July 22nd, respectively. So this month, in the upcoming days that lead up to Deadpool and Wolverine, we could get an even more detailed description of the first 40 minutes of the movie. So if you don't want to miss that and more Deadpool and Wolverine news, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And please don't forget to like this video and let me know how excited you are for Deadpool and Wolverine. We are less than a month away now, which is insane. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.